Our next panel discussion will explore zero-knowledge roll-ups are becoming a critical scaling solution for blockchains. The discussion will cover a technical advancement, scalable challenges, and how ZK roll-ups can propose and transfer the DeFi ecosystem. Without further ado, I would like to welcome on stage co-founder of zkLink, Vincent Yang, and head of strategy and marketing at Midnight, Anthony Day. Thank you.
Should we like?
All right, hello. This is a little far away.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, great. Thank you very much.
Now it's actually fireside.
Yeah, now it feels like a fireside chat now.
All right, hello, Blockchain Life 2024. How are we all? Thank you so much for joining. Our objective for the next 20 minutes is to help you guys go away with a better understanding of zero-knowledge technology. It is complex, but it is not complex to understand. And so what we'd like to do is give you some examples, give you some information, give you some of our experience to help you understand and go away excited and interested to go and take more action with ZK Tech. So that's my goal. Vince, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for flying in this morning. How are you feeling?
I feel okay, yeah.
Okay, feeling fresh, feeling good. Before we get started, let's give the guys a brief introduction, if we may. Could you give the guys your brief intro and tell them a little bit about zkLink?
Thank you, Anthony. Hi, everyone. This is Vincent Yang from zkLink. We are building the ZK infrastructure for Ethereum ecosystem. We have been trying to link blockchains and Ethereum rollups with zero-knowledge technology and also aggregate thousands of rollups together and make the thousands of blockchains and rollups feel like one. As simple, as easy as possible.
Fantastic. Thank you for the intro, Vince. We're definitely going to get into rollups. We're definitely going to get into Ethereum, multi-chain, all of that as we go through the conversation. For those who don't know me, my name is Anthony Day. I work for a project called Midnight. Midnight is a zero-knowledge layer 1 focused on programmable data protection and privacy. We bridge the gap between very transparent Ethereum and very private Zcash or other privacy solutions that regulators don't tend to like or are particularly challenging for compliance-related industries and for mass adoption more widely. So we're focused on enabling zero-knowledge smart contracts and dApps that can protect privacy or sensitive information. Less around scaling, as we heard from zkLink, more focused around compliant privacy for mass adoption. That's where we're focused, and so we're going to cover a little bit of that today. Vince, let's start a little bit with a context setting for the world of ZK.
Yeah, I believe that most of the audience today probably already have heard of ZK before as a buzzword, but it's actually, there are many different ways to explain this. The way I'd like to put it is that ZK is verifiable computation, right? You can make a statement that is verifiable. Instead of trusting centralized entities or any person, you trust in the mathematical equations, you trust in the mathematics that can be verified by mathematics. That's how ZK works.
And in the context of a rollup, how is that useful, or why is that useful?
The basic concept of rollup is to take off the on-chain computation off-chain, and then you process the data, you compute the data, and then you come up with the results, and you compress this data in a single proof, and then post that proof with these compressed data on-chain, and then you have a smart contract to verify this proof generated off-chain. So this is basically how you scale the on-chain computations off-chain. It becomes a lot faster, cheaper, and more economic, scalable.
There you go. Hopefully a helpful introduction to the rollup concept. From the smart contracts or zero-knowledge apps perspective, it's a really, really simple concept. Right? Zero knowledge has been described by many as magical math or lots of complex ways of describing how it actually works. For me, it's a much simpler thing. Send proofs, not sensitive data. At this point in time, I suspect most of you are completely normalized about sending a copy of your passport or a copy of your driver's license or your birth date, your address over the internet in exchange for shoes or in exchange for just being able to log into an application. We've completely normalized this. And so that sensitive information, your driver's license, your passport detail, is being shared with a third party. And let's be clear, the third parties are not malicious in this instance, right? Amazon is probably just trying to sell you shoes, and that's fine. But there's a pain point for them too. So assuming we're okay with encrypted data going over the internet, and we'll talk about encryption and whether encryption on-chain is a good thing or not, that information is being sent to a third party who now has to process your data, hold your data in storage, try not to present too much of a honeypot to third parties that they may want to hack your sensitive information, and then have a whole team focused around maintaining and managing and governing that sensitive data. So there's a potential risk for you. There's a massive cost and pain point for whoever you're buying shoes from. And this is just a terrible way to architect applications, and yet that's how things work today. So what we're trying to do in the zero-knowledge app space is we're trying to say, okay, well, I'm not going to send you my passport details because you just want to verify my age. I'm going to send you a proof that my identity exists and matches with your characteristics or your requirements. I'm going to send that proof to a smart contract, and the smart contract is just going to return with yes or no. Verified, not verified. Suitable to enter this particular establishment or not. Is a member of this DAO or not. Oh, plot twist. Surprise guest arrival. So, in short, send a proof of the sensitive information, keep all of your sensitive information on your server, on your machine, on your phone, wherever it exists, and allow the proof of that information to be shared with a third party. And I would now like to welcome to the stage, Shubham, how are you? Could you give us a brief introduction and also hopefully a fun story as to why you're late?
Hello. Sorry for the delay. So actually, this is called as Festival Arena, and I went to Festival Mall instead of this, and it was like 1.8 kilometers away.
Did you pick up anything good?
I'm really tired. I'm sweating right now.
I'm sorry, dude. Can we get some water on stage? Are you
No,
good?
it's okay. It's okay.
All right.
It's cool. Actually, like I thought it was on 12:05, but it started already. I'm really sorry to disturb you guys.
No worries. We move. Could you give us your brief introduction? We already did Vince and myself, but a brief introduction of what you're working on.
Yep, sure. So I'm the head of ecosystem at Manta Network. So previous experience, I have been working with Polygon as a research analyst. Then I shifted to BD, and I started working with a gaming project as a head of ecosystem again. Then I worked with Manta Network as a head of gaming, and now I'm the head of ecosystem at Manta. So recently, like we started a eco fund as well, which is called as Manta Foundation, which is a 50 million fund. So I'm also taking care on that side. So now my major focus is not just the ecosystem, but also the foundation side. Now talking about Manta, so we are the first and the largest modular L2. Recently, major upgrades on the tech side. So we are the first one to launch multi-DA, which is called as multi-modular technology, where users can use multiple data availability at the same time. So in case one data availability goes down, you can use multiple else. You don't have to settle on Ethereum directly. Apart from that, like we are the first chain to share revenue with the users. So it means that, for example, right now in last few months, if you guys have paid like X amount of gas fee. So just take an example of $1,000. So 50% of that, $500 will be paid back to you after every 2 months. Plus if you are top users on Manta Network, like top 400, so based on your on-chain ranking, you will be getting some additional rewards from us. So that is the two major things on the tech side. On the non-tech side, we have around 200 apps, majorly focused on DeFi, gaming, RWS, and recently we also started focusing on deep in AI.
All right.
So
Thank you.
Vincent is like part of our ecosystem.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you for the kind introduction. And given that we're here talking about ZK, could you give us a brief introduction about the importance of ZK specifically in Manta?
Got it. So, like Manta when started, so we were not a layer 2. We were a layer 1 focused on privacy side. So that time ZK was not the thing. So that time privacy was the thing. But after that, we thought maybe if privacy had some issues, like privacy majorly focused on two things. Like one is about users' privacy, and second is about like the overall ecosystem or maybe the network privacy. So if network is private, we don't know where the transaction is coming from and where it is going. So if a person sitting in North Korea does a transaction, which can hamper Manta Network and the foundation as well, even we don't have the data.
Yeah. Full privacy, fully shielded transactions is challenging and hard and tornado cash. So
exactly.
Please continue.
So that was the reason we thought maybe we will be the first chain to start with the ZK proofs, we started with VRF technology, if you know, like randomization and stuff. So we were the one who started with that. We launched a product called as ZK Hold'em, which was specifically used for gaming, card gamings, which is very easy to randomize the numbers and stuff. After that, right now, Manta major focus on is to onboard the optimism stack with the help of ZK Tech. So if you know, like optimism is quite easy for the developers to understand, to use, and the gas fee is low, the confirmation speed is good and stuff. Everything is cool on that side. But on ZK side, when it comes, it is quite expensive as compared to optimism stack. So that is the reason we first stepped into modular stack, so that the gas fee can be reduced on the layer 1 side. And then we will be moving to the ZK side so that the off-chain proofs can be verified easily.
Brilliant. A helpful introduction, a little nod towards gaming. We're going to get into use cases in a minute. And also, you've teed up the next question beautifully. It's as if we've rehearsed. Vince, I want to come to you about the balance between transparency and privacy. So obviously, we know Ethereum, we know most blockchains major heavily on transparency. And anyone here who has an Ethereum address, anybody here who has their ENS address being their first and second name, is risk accepting that their entire crypto history and dApp browser history is visible to anybody all the time for the rest of history. And some people are okay with that. Some people are not, or some people are unaware of that, and you guys should probably go and check your ENS address and maybe go change it. How do we balance the requirement or the desire for transparency, which is a core benefit of blockchain, with the ability to provide privacy where it's appropriate?
Yeah, since you guys are working on a layer 1 solution for privacy purpose, like programmable privacy blockchain, you probably know more than me, but from our perspective, that there are very specific needs for privacy for blockchain users, just as Shubham mentioned, especially for traders when they want to protect their specific trading strategy. They do not want to reveal too much information on their transaction history. They don't want to reveal the connections between certain addresses with their asset management strategy, their vault, et cetera, especially we as a blockchain user, we do not want to reveal our vaults, our transaction history, because it could be too much information to be shared, and also at the same time, it's very hard to do that. The most common way we do this is right now is to use centralized platform. It's ironic because blockchain is all about decentralization and about transparency. At the same time, we still have strong needs when it comes to financial applications, especially, right? And also there are other specific purposes of privacy that we need. For example, for our decentralized identity, for DID, sometimes we do not want to reveal too much information at once for one application. For example, you just gave a perfect example of the government's IDs of just entering specific apps to verification of whether you are 18 years old above or not. You certainly do not want to share about your address, your registration address on your ID. So they just need to do that verification of your age, right? So there's where ZK can be very helpful. And there are also other encryption technology like FHE, but ZK is the most advanced and currently the most adopted technology that can provide privacy to the entire blockchain industry. But at the same time, it's very challenging because too much privacy can be very challenging as well in the eyes from legislators.
We've seen what happened with Tornado Cash. I mean, let's be clear, guys. Every application has a spectrum from being public, visible, transparent to shielded, private, and nobody else can see except for the counterparties. This is not inherently a problem. This is normal. This is real life, right? Most businesses in the world transact fully privately between each other, maybe with a cloud in the middle. Most blockchain users today are transacting fully publicly, albeit with pseudonymous identities or on-chain encryption. And one of my architects will tell you encrypting anything and putting it on-chain is not a strong security profile. But this is where we are today, and different use cases, different applications will be very happy at different parts of the spectrum. Regulators, financial institutions will look at something that is fully private and fully shielded and say that's not compliant. if I need to know what happened or what transactions happened at a particular point in time or between certain parties, can you tell me? If the answer is no, you are not compliant, and we will not scale applications with that model. And so one of the applications for ZK is exactly solving this particular use case. Shubham, I'm going to come to you, because you've pivoted from a full privacy philosophy out of the gate to more of a scalability solution, maybe not losing the philosophy, but what changed along that journey, and what have you identified about the need for maybe selective disclosure or more programmable privacy?
So here, which I mentioned in the introduction as well, like the fully privacy thing is not good enough. Like it should not be there as well. Like there should be some compliant. At least if we both are trading with each other, we should know where is the money coming from, who is sending me, and who is going out. Instead of that, like user privacy is important, but the centralization or maybe privacy for a network is not a good thing. So Manta should not be private, but the users who are trading, who are bridging the assets, who are sending the token, swapping, everything should be private. So that is the first thing which we got to know. After that, like ZK came into picture. ZK was like quite hyped. So that time we got to know like we can also do something on off-chain proofs instead of doing all things on-chain, which can reduce the problems with scalability, which can also reduce the gas fee cost and stuff. So that was also one of the reasons we started focusing on like what things we can do first with the privacy focused on maybe the ZK. So that was the reason we started with VRF, which was a good thing. And we have used it as implementation as well. Second, I think so right now we have also seen some of the DEXs, like not on the chain level, but on the DApp level, we have seen some privacy-focused tools as well, as you mentioned. So that is one thing like which I think so which can help us to focus, because all the data can be verified through the DAs. So for example, right now we are using Celestia as the main one. You can do a transaction, people can't see it, but if they want to verify the proof, if these tokens were sent from X to a X address, so they can just verify it directly from a call data to directly DA. It can be Avail, it can be IGN, or it can be Celestia, whatever we are using right now.
Gotcha. And so it's important for the audience to know that, again, this is not chain maximalism here. This is actually very practical, modular approach to building applications that we need to be on. Not everything has to be on-chain all the time. Off-chain computation and generating of proofs is entirely appropriate and performant. Not everything has to be aggregated up to a layer one straight away. And eventually layer ones are strong, secure, decentralized, performant. But it takes more to build a modern dApp that is actually scalable and that people and industries and users can take and run with for mass adoption. We've got 3 minutes left, so we're going to go into use cases. What are the favorite use cases that you guys are looking to enable with your tech? Vince?
Okay. I'm definitely very bullish on privacy-focused use cases with ZK. I think this is one of the fundamental primitive that is needed for the entire blockchain industry or the entire world. And we're not seeing much going on other than Tornado Cash, but I hope to
Tornado Cash set a precedent, but we developed it, or it was developed in a non-compliant way. There is still a demand for the application they provided, but we must deliver
then
it in
it
a
goes to
compliant way.
back the question that just asked how we balance that. It's very debatable, right? People have very different perspectives, the legislators and then the users. It can be quite controversial there. And then I'm also very interested in learning more about how we can implement ZKDIDs. For example, this could be very helpful for the implementation of a unified identity system in the on-chain. So this will drive the mass adoption of blockchain technology into real-world use cases. And it all starts with unified identity.
100%.
And with ZK, I think this can be accelerated. We're seeing very interesting practices and developments with several teams in the space already. And then I'm also very interested in the use cases. Of course, scalability has already become a very big sector of ZK implementations. And the layer 2s, now we're entering the era of layer 3s with specific use cases like trading, high performance applications like gaming, trading, potentially like socials. Yeah, there are many others, but yeah, just since we're
That's
times
a
tight,
really
yeah.
good help. We were going to spend a bit more time on layer 3, but we didn't. But maybe you guys can spend some time and chat to you on that after the panel. Shubham, give us quickly a couple of your favorite use cases or the things you're seeing built on Manta.
First is definitely DID or maybe the identity proof, which is important to have a privacy because
Identity is everything.
yeah. So like we have started working with Privado, so it is like Polygon ID previously. So that we can issue interoperable DID. So maybe this DID can be used on a layer 3 or a layer 2. Second, definitely I want to use it across the ecosystem. It can be some part, like it should not be everyone should have a like specific DEX who should be on a privacy, but some DEXs should be private, some should not be there. And third is lending, everything.
Yeah.
But I know that we don't want to use privacy in RWAs. So that is the case which I know we don't want to do that because like even we have seen right now we are in Dubai right now. So we have seen 500 million properties have been done like tokenization and everything. But say suppose if we do privacy over here, it will mess up with the like country regulations where it is important to have a citizen of this country to buy the properties and stuff.
So let me challenge you on that for a second, because I think what you're describing is the fully left-hand end of the spectrum, private, everything private all of the time. I would contest that, yes, that is not compliant and it's not going to work. What we do want is on-chain shielding or privacy of the data, but the ability for the holders of those assets or the traders of those assets to selectively disclose that information to a regulator if required. And so this is an important distinction for those people listening in. It's going to be very challenging to do fully transparent or fully private blockchains and dApps forever. In fact, I would argue that's almost impossible. If we actually want mass adoption, we have to find a way to enable commercial transactions, sensitive information, people's identity, and applications that manage them to shield that information on-chain when needed or when required, and make that information present
And we're seeing two
available.
approach. One is layer 1 blockchain or some middleware acting, connecting layer 1 mainnet, majorly Ethereum, the most adopted smart contract platform. And another approach we have seen is layer 3, building a layer 3 that is privacy enabled.
App chain, more app chain specific
Yes,
functionality.
app chains
So we did get to layer 3. I'm glad we did.
Yeah.
So just double click on that thought for a second. So how does that feel compared to, okay, layer 1 settlement, layer 2 scaling, layer 3 is?
More application-specific scaling. Layer 2 is general purpose scaling, like Manta Network. You can build any types of applications on a layer 2. And the layer 3 is means for more application-specific scaling. For example, if you're building your own gaming projects, probably if you run a general purpose layer 2, sometimes the bandwidth is not good enough, or you have to compete with the other applications at the same time running on the same blockchain. And having your own layer 3 blockchains, meaning that you have every resources dedicated to your own purpose, and you can customize all the components to your own purpose, specific needs. For example, you can also customize the spectrum of privacy, how much percentage of privacy you want to enable for the types of transactions for the group of audience or your customers.
Got it. Very clear. And thank you for the clarification again. If you hadn't heard of layer 3s now, you have. Application-specific chains, application-specific shielding and privacy is going to be an important domain of how we get to mass adoption. So with a couple of minutes left, I'm going to give you guys each maybe 45 seconds to a minute. What would you like the guys to take away, and what would you like them to come find out about Manta or zkLink? Shubham, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So as I mentioned about gas gain program, so that is the first thing like which I want to shill over here. So please check it out and see if that is something interesting, because that is directly for the users.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are a user, you should check it out.
Got it. Vince?
Yeah, about zkLink, that we're building the first layer 3 aggregated rollup for Ethereum ecosystem, and we're the largest layer 3 live since earlier this year. It's about 6 months. And there's a lot more we're going to build. We're going to build a chain abstraction, AI-enabled intended URL to help KOLs, medias to generate revenue stream, and also to help retail users to learn how to use different products on different blockchains without having to learn the different blockchains and having to have the gas tokens. So 1,000 blockchain feels like one.
Wow, that sounds incredibly powerful. Thank you so much, guys. I'm going to spend 30 seconds briefly talking about Midnight. Just recently launched on testnet in October. as we said before, Midnight's focused on smart contracts and dApp builders. So if you have a requirement for shielding sensitive information on chain, which at this point in time I think is literally every dApp, from a performance perspective, having client-side proofs, having smart contracts, ZK layer 1 is not going to be performant for 1 million transactions per second. That's where you've got zkLink and Manta, right? So if you're looking at scaling and speed, these are the guys that are providing these sorts of solutions from a Midnight perspective, where there's sensitive information, smart contracts, identity, financial transactions, commercial transactions, intellectual property. Where those particular challenges exist and we want to scale to mass adoption, have a look at what we're building at midnight.network. If you're interested to come build, come check out the docs, come check out our developer relations team on the Discord, and please go away, hopefully, all of you, with a confidence that zero knowledge is important. As a concept, it's not hard to grasp why. Send proofs, not data. Compute off-chain and roll-up to go faster. That's all you really need to know at a conceptual level to understand the importance of ZK. And if that's material to your projects, your applications, or your industries, please come talk to any one of the three of us. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you being here. Thank you for being a great audience. Thank you.
Gentlemen, can we just quickly...
We're done.
We're going to do a selfie.
Thank you. Could we do a quick Q&A? Let's do a quick Q&A.
Begin first. Nice.
Let's do a quick Q&A. Okay, if you want to take quick seats. If there's anyone in the crowd, that was a great panel discussion, by the way, very informative. Any Q&As we have for Anthony, for Sam, or for Vincent? We do have a microphone in the audience. No Q&As? We must have covered everything.
Maybe we did. I mean, I think everything you wanted to know about ZK but were afraid to ask is a difficult topic, because maybe people didn't know enough about ZK to start with to know what to ask. But maybe anything related to dApps, blockchains, scaling. If you guys have a question, you're welcome to put your hands up. Just not that guy over there. That's, for those who don't know, that's Antonio Senatores, CTO of VeChain. He is the smartest man I've ever met. You are not allowed to ask us questions. We are not on your level, sir. Please, no questions from you.
Is there any questions for the panelists? No?
If not, if you don't want to ask on the microphone, please come find us afterwards. We're here exactly for this. We're here to engage with the community. We're here to answer your guys' questions or to help you find out more about the projects we're building on. So if not on stage, please do come and find us. We care. That's what we're here for.
Fantastic stuff, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Let's give a huge round of applause for Anthony, Shahab, and Vincent. That was a great panel discussion. Thank you. Cheers.